Let's see, where is the link for this? Let's go to YouTube. Let's see, switch count. Lipid Leatherworks. And let's go here to YouTube Studio. And content. And live. And shareable link. Here we go. Facebook. Leopard Leatherworks. All right, we got that live. Hello to people. Hey, Christina406. How you doing? It is a happy Sunday. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday to you. You know, I was just in here and I'm thinking, I ought to go live because we missed last night because the interwebs getting hooked up, the new interwebs. Now I figure, what the heck? Let's just go live. Okay, so I got that. Let me change the camera. This will be fun. I'm just gonna play. I'm playing in the shop all day, producing, not really playing, but you know how that goes. Okay, right now I'm drilling for some ink pen blanks. So I'm drilling some holes. Right, let's get that lined up. Change my drill bit here. I need a 3/8. Let's see, where's my 3/8? Is this it? Nope, that's a 10 millimeter. Must be that one right next to it. Yep, 3/8. Get that centered up there. And we'll marry this up and make sure we got it right in the center. Looking pretty good in the center. Let me get the live over on my pad here. We'll refresh. Oh, I got to get this on the new internet. Yeah, bear with me a second here. We got the new internet and I got to change the Wi-Fi here. Let's see, Bluetooth. Let's come into Wi-Fi. The old Bear Cave is gone and we're going to add the new Bear Cave. There we go, Bear Cave 2. Putting in the master password. That was not quite it. Blew it already. Okay, that's it. That should connect me. Well, bear with me for a second here on this pop-up live. Okay, we are connected. Let's go back to the YouTubes. There it is, pop-up Sunday in the morning. All right, we are broadcasting now. All right, okay. Blower's going to go on. Not that I can hear anybody in here because there's nobody here but me. We retract that. We'll get that snugged up right there. Lock it down. Nice and gentle as we get the hole started. Coming out pretty good. All right, got to move my drill bit. That's as far as I can go on that little length. Let all that feed out into my hand. We just hit the green. That won't flow out as well as the Fordite does, so we got to back off and get that fed out. There we go. Make sure we get all that cleared. Good morning to everybody that's joining. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your Sunday, as Christina 406 has wished upon us. All right. Beautiful hole through the middle. Very nice. That's going to be an ink pen. Got some crazy looking Fordite in there. It's going to be real fun. Let me de-rig this here. We'll take that off. We'll put our live center back in. I'll set that over there. We'll take this chuck off. There we go. Again, just thought I'd go live. Normally don't go live Sunday morning unless we're having like a 24-hour live, but figure we would just have some fun all day. Got a lot of pen making to do. Got to fly to California tomorrow, so got to get a lot done today. So we'll pop in and pop out all day. Let's see what the temperature is outside, because you don't believe it or not, it's a little bit warm in the shop. I got to turn that heater off there and get some of this heat out of the garage, or I'll be uncomfortable. 36 degrees. Okay, I'm going to open up the garage. I'll get some cold air in here. Let me turn this heater down first of all. All right, here we go. Won't take hard to exchange the cold air for the heat when it's 36 degrees outside. It is 72 in the shop, and that's a little toasty, quite frankly. You know, it looks like it might have rained a little bit last night. Ah, there's the cold air. I can see the heat flowing out with the little crinkly air. You know how that looks. All right. That's enough. Just chill it down a couple of degrees. Perfect. All right, let's get back to business here. All right, we are going to shift to the desk. I'll mix up a little bit of epoxy. Here we go. Put those so they don't roll away. Put the black away. Got to wipe that off, or every time you touch that top, it's going to be black. There we go. And it looks like I got that aimed pretty good. Or pretty well, I should say. All right, let me get my chair. This is the first step in the ink pen making process, is to cut the blanks to length and then get them glued into there, or drill the blanks out, and then we'll get them glued in. So the next step, to make it easy on ourselves, is to put this wax in there. Let me get this moved over to the big monitor there. There we go. Let's see. You're sitting at 31 right now, a bit warmer than it's been. Well, that's good for you then. It's a little bit warmer. Absolutely. Christina, where are you at? It's 406 an area code or just something that somebody provided you as you signed up for the YouTubes? 406 sounds like a Canadian area code or something. I could be wrong. I don't know where they're all at. So what we do is we actually fill the end of these things with wax. There we go. We should get a good autofocus on there. There we go. You can see I just fill the end with wax. That makes it a lot easier to clean out when I put the epoxy in there. And I've just got this thin pink wax here. Nothing special about it. Order it on Amazon. Have a good time. I don't know what else you would use this for, but I bet you it has 1,000 uses. There we go. Northwest Montana. Oh, that's right. Montana, 406. That must be gorgeous and cold up there. We used to live in Utah, so we know how that goes. All right, now, first thing we do is we test fit our blanks, make sure they go through. Blow all the junk out. Got a little bit of a ridge in there. Oh, interesting. That plastic that goes through there has swelled. So these little lines here in between the colors are plastic lines. Dang, that is nice, Christina. I bet you it's beautiful up here. I love northern Idaho. Not too many gorgeous places as gorgeous as that. So now what I need to do is just run a drill through there now that it's cold, because this is why I check it first, because I won't be able to get that in there. Let's check this one out here. This one here, in and out just fine, so that'll be good. Check this one here too. This one, which one goes in which one? Oh, this one goes. Oh, either one will be fine. Okay. Yeah, same thing here. I can feel the stepped thing. So let me ream that out real quick. And all I do to ream it out is I just take the drill bit I use to drill it out and just run it through, and it just cuts off those edges. Hey, Christina James, how you doing? Happy Philadelphia to you. Hey, you know, I was watching a thing on YouTube last night after we got off the live, we cleaned up the shop. And there's this thing in Philadelphia now, North Philly, I think was where it was from. They got this thing called a barnacle. There, see, this goes in and out just fine now. And the barnacle is a device that they suction to your windshield so you can't drive your car when you park in a place that you shouldn't have parked because you're not patronizing those stores. And I thought that was a very interesting deal. And of course, everybody's up in arms about it and it's got a thing right on it. You can actually pay while you're live to get this barnacle removed. It's a big yellow or orange thing. Can't remember. Okay, that's gonna be good there. Yeah, that goes in and out just fine now. So again, you got to check those first, because if I'd have had those all epoxied up and then couldn't get them in there, that would have been not good. So let those cool again, because I generate a little bit of heat with that, and then as it cools, we will just check it again to make sure. And by the way, Christine, I'm just going live because we missed last night because of the interwebs, the new interwebs being installed. Okay, next, got to get some paper here, parchment paper. Seven miles from the Canadian border. Christina, you are up there, sister. My goodness. And I got a buddy that lives in, I think it's called Tonasket, Washington. And he is, I don't know, 30 to 40 miles from the Canadian border. He is way up there in central Washington, way, way north. Old Navy buddy, a good guy. Good guy. Okay, now let's see. So now I got to get gloves on my fingers. If not, I get the I got green all over that. You got to throw that glove away. Got that fluorescent green everywhere from making this blank. Let's get us a brand new pair of gloves here. Yeah, so now we got the interwebs. I actually ran until I get my own mesh network reset up, because AT&T doesn't do that. They just come in and give you some mega fast interwebs. And so I said, okay, I'll just live with this. I ran an Ethernet cable all the way across the house, literally from the other side of the house all the way to here. I got a 100-foot Ethernet cord that helps me doing that. Okay, so we got our goodies laid out here. It doesn't matter which of those I put in which one, because both of them are looking good. And let's see. Let's come in here. Oops. Oh, is that? Oh, that was not on tight. Okay. I'm going to have to clean that holder out. This is Bob Smith Industries 2-part epoxy. First thing I'm going to do is clean that sucker off there. We'll clean this off here. And then we'll clean this off here. We got 2 Christinas in here, spelled differently. That's awesome. Christina in Montana, 406. How long you been diamond painting? All right, that's on there now. Wonder if that's been dripping out of there. Has that got a, oh, it's got a holder in there, so that means everything that's down in there is still there. So let's get that out. I'll push that in there to dry that up. Let me get a little screwdriver and jam that down in there. All right, that's cleaned out really nicely. I can put that back in there. And here's the second part of the 2-part epoxy. Everybody see me do this on a 24-hour live, so if you were here then, no big mystery here. Started in 2022. Yeah, it takes a little while to get up and rolling, doesn't it? You got to learn how to do it and learn how the pieces go together and what you like, what you don't like, and how to get organized and all that good stuff. Yeah, it takes a minute. (2023) 2022 is when we started talking about Leopard Leatherworks doing these pens and stuff. And 2023, by about the springtime, we were starting to roll. Okay, let's put that lid on there. And I need a little bit of this other side here. These have to be equal dots, and that other one, part B, is a bit larger. All right, that's pretty good right there. We'll move these out of the way a little bit. Wipe my fingers off. I need to move this like this a hair because I'm missing a little bit of my hand work. Oh, this thing tilts. There we go. That way, as I'm working right here, I can, got to remember to stick it over the white area. Okay, let's get a popsicle stick here. Mix these together. Just gather all this stuff together. Make sure it's all mixed. Christina James, if you're still here, who's Philadelphia playing today? Now we just roll this like a pig in mud through the epoxy, get a bunch on there. Then we'll take it. We actually drip a bunch down into the container here. Follow us up. There's not a lot of room between that and the other, so you got to keep making sure you get a bunch of epoxy down in there. And Christina, 406, Carrie would say, who's your favorite artist? Which one do you like to do the most? Or what type? All right, this should be all, yeah, it feels like it's all nice and wet on the inside of there. Once we get it all done, then we just push that baby in there. Beautiful. The whole idea on this one here, it's going to be mostly a Fordite blank as we turn it, but we're going to get a little bit of green on this end. The guy we're doing the pen for, I think it's for his mother, really loves this green, so that's cool. All right, let's get this rolled up into here. Hello, all you 5 people out there. Hoping you're having a good day. Lurk away while you're diamond painting or getting ready for church or whatever you're doing right now. We're going to push that in there. That'll be pretty cool. Now, I think I should have mixed. I think I blew that one already. I'm going to get epoxy all over my. Yeah, I got to pause here for a second before I get that other one going there. I'm going to let that cure. I'm going to get these things. Let's see, I don't have a clean finger. Let me get a clean finger here. Got epoxy everywhere. All right, we'll pull that glove off there. That one off there. I got to let that cure now. I needed to get these ones to be white, so I have to mix white pigment with that there. So let me get the white pigment first. And it's too late to do it with this one here because that is going to cure up like a bad dog there. That means I got to wipe that one off. Love so many artists and themes. That's cool. That's good. Do seem to have fantasy and animal. That's cool. Yeah. There's a lot of variety out there, I'll tell you. I want to get this one all wiped off because I want to be able to get it back in the tube later. All right, so that one's pretty well wiped off. There's that one there. They're going to go in those there. I'm going to let that cure for a little bit, and then I'm going to ream that out again. Pop up here to the computer here. Still warm in here. Once you get everything in the shop warmed up, it maintains really well. The concrete, the shop, the benches, the tools. And then really you're just heating or cooling the air a little bit around it. So I'm going to open up the door. I got sniffles this morning. I don't know why. Weird. All right, door is all the way up. We'll let a little cold air roll in and the heat roll out. And sort of funny, even if you exchange the air, the heat emanates from all the objects in the shop. All right, so I even already nicked my finger this morning on the drill bit. Klutz I am. All right, we'll let that cure. Let me get this off of there. That's still pretty sticky. Get a little alcohol here and wipe that epoxy off my fingers just because it's annoying. Surprised Cindy Bennett isn't on. It's probably about 7:30 her time, and I know she gets up early and she diamond paints all day long. But she might not be watching the YouTubes and realizing that we're this early. So we'll leave this alone for a second. I'm going to shift this over to the lathe. All right. Let me put this tool away. And I've got a bunch of diamond painting pens to turn. So number one, these are all going to be 5 1/4. That one's a little bit long. They're all 5 1/4 except that one right here. Oh, that one's got like a little, looks like black and yellow sunflowers. It's an interesting blank. Check that out. Oops, wrong camera. You know, that looks out of focus again. I'm going to put that there. Let's see, is that focused or not? It's not bad, but it's not phenomenal. Let me make this very large. Fill the screen. Make that real big. I'm going to try to, I got to dial that in just a little bit. Okay, that's worse. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that's nice and focused there. I like that. Okay. So as I remember back in the day, that Northwest Arkansas, it's got some Indian reservations. Northwest Montana, not Arkansas. Northwest Indian Montana has some Indian reservations and a big forest. Starts with a K. And I know that the same forest extends into Idaho, but they call it a different name. Can't remember. Oh, I got to cut this off. Why am I drilling it? Let's get it cut off first. See, it takes me a little minute to get my bearings in the shop here. Let's see. Let's do this 5 1/4. All right, I'll be over with the bandsaw for a second. Okay, let me take all these over here. We got a little Santa. This one's going to be a fun one to do. A little Santa blank to do. Yeah, normally I do premieres here and upload them and stuff. And I said, let me go live. Let's have some fun. That'll give me about 10 minutes. I don't need to mess with downloading and all that stuff. I got this little Santa guy right here. And the Santa guy is not in the center. So if I centered this up, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. If I centered this up through the middle of the blank, which would be, yeah, it's a 1-inch blank. So you need a 1/2 inch either side. That Santa is not in the center. And if I were to drill exactly in the center, I would be drilling into the back of that Santa. And not drilling, but cutting as I'm turning. So I think I'm going to have to anyway, but I'm going to minimize that by centering towards this underneath him. See, the bottom is centered nice, but he's leaning backwards. That's unfortunate, but it'll be all right. And then I got extra clear here, so I want to stay clear of that. So I want to get back in there. Yep, we're gonna get to the back of his stocking cap anyway, but we'll minimize that as much as we can. So this one is going to be more of a decorative pen because it's going to be a tiny bit smaller than the owner would want it. But if I don't do that, it'll be nothing. You won't be able to look at it or have fun with it or anything. All right, that's pretty good drill centering there. That's the tough part about making blanks is once you put that stuff down in the resin, you're committed. You are done. All the rest of these are just normal blanks, so I can center them up very nicely. Wow, that's going to be cool Fordite, but it's going to run the length rather than be all swirly like we love to see our Fordite. This is an interesting blank. Got some really cool swirlies in here. That must be a Shipley blank. He's got a way with the colors and the mixing that's pretty cool. This is going to be a pretty blank. It's a wooden blank. Not sure the type of wood, but it's got some beautiful wavy and chatoyance. And then this end here has little tiny flowers in it. All right, they're all drilled out now. Let me come over here and put some bushings in there. Let's do this Santa man first. I'm about 1.5 hours from the west entrance tonight from Glacier National Park. Oh, yeah. Oh, Kootenai. That's it. That was a cool name, huh? The Flathead. Oh, that's the Indian reservation. Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know why I was in that area or Googling it or something. It might have been during that murder trial for that Washington State University that came over to Moscow, Idaho, and did terrible things to those ladies and guy and stuff. And I was just Googling around there. I said, boy, Kootenai, that's a pretty neat name. All right, so now we're going to have to round this out first. And as you can see, I'm pretty centered on the Santa, but we're still going to catch a little bit of the back of his head, even when we round. Not even carving yet, but just rounding it. And again, this a little bit smaller on this side. Yeah, when you're a blank maker and you're pouring blanks, you got to be real careful. This is like 1 inch solid, and this down here is not quite 1 inch. So yeah, it's a little bit downhill slope, but we'll cut that little clear stuff off right there. That'll look really cool. Kootenai. I think that's how you say that. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, it looks like it was wobbling, but it's just the unevenness of that angled pour. That was crazy. All right, we'll get that up to speed. We'll back that off of here. We'll make sure we're at the right level. A little bit low. Okay. Blower on. Here we go. Let's round this baby up. And we're going to take little tiny nibbles. Don't want to get too aggressive for this one here. Kuchenai. I'm going to say that word a lot today. That's a cool word. There are some Indian words I see that are they just ring in my ear very nicely. What's the one over in Idaho called? Same forest, just different name. I think it starts with a K too. I don't know why I remember that. I Google in, when you Google Earth in and stuff, you see this big cleared area in the middle of a forest. You find out, like you said, it's the Flathead Indian Reservation or Flathead something. Have you lived there all your life, or one day you were vacationing and went through there and said, oh man, I got to move here? We couldn't move there, though. It'd be too cold. Carrie would not appreciate that. She is a very warm-blooded creature. Yeah, we're going to take our time with this one right here. And maybe it's an optical illusion and we're not really as close as I think we are to that little beanie cap of the snowman. I'm not worried about the red and white ends. They're going to be okay. Do. Hello, all you peoples out there. Hope you're having a good day. Just Christina from Montana and I just shooting the breeze. Mostly me shooting the breeze and her responding through text. Again, going super slow with this very festive holiday blank. Stop by and say hey on the way to the donut shop, I should say. Been in Montana for 30 years. Oh, moved from California. Don't like the cold and haven't gotten used to it. I'm with you. But man, I bet you summer times there are just breathtaking. Okay, we're just about fully round, and then we'll see how Santa's ball cap came out, or beanie cap. All right, a little bit squareness right in here. And that's from that uneven pour. No big deal. We'll handle it just fine. All right. Nice and round. Let's see how we did. Still a little bit square right on the end there, but we'll take care of that. See that squareness right there? Hey, we're not into the beanie cap yet. This is looking upwards. I love it. Oh, that is very enlightening. So when I curve down in here for the baseball bat ends, I may not touch that beanie at all. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to California this week. Going to Orange County. Woo, baby. Not as pretty as Montana, but it sure is rich down there. My goodness. Okay, we're going to do a .64 baseball bat ends first. And I'm just above center, which is perfect. We're going to nibble right in here because I do have a very sharp new blade on here on my carver. We got to go slow till I break it in, or man, it just loves to grab those blanks and tear them up. Yeah, I think this might be a Troy blank too. And man, he mixes his Alumilite clear slow so thoroughly. It's just lovely to turn these blanks because they're just so smooth. Funny how you can tell whether somebody mixes correctly or not. Just from turning so many. All right, let's see how we're doing for measurement here. We're getting down about 0.66, getting real close. Oh, me too, Christina. Are they up soon? I don't even know who I'm doing today. I know I'm doing this one here, this little batch of about, I think, 5 diamond painting pens and 2 ink pens. And then we'll go on to some more. Got a couple of LEAP members pens to get done that we turned that are for the November, December. Hey, April, how the heck are you? Me and Christina get along just fine. You'd love Christina. She's out there in the Badlands like you are. She's way up in Montana. You're down in beautiful Colorado. Yeah, baby. Good stuff. All right, that's looking pretty good right there. Let me do a little bit of carving around here, make a very nice baseball bat. I'm very excited that we didn't hit the back side of this Santa hat. All right, let's get over here. And this baseball bat might be a little bit smaller because of the flatness on that one side, but we're going to make it fabulous. Yeah, Christina, I was so bummed last night. I couldn't work it out to go live. So I thought, you know what? I was in the shop. I was just getting up and rolling. I thought, you know what? Gotta just go live. A couple of in and out pop outs, and we'll go live tonight too. And by the way, thank you for your very nice post about your rings. I am beyond honored to be a piece of that. And every time you look at your ring, you think you're a wonderful Bo. And every time I see my ring, I'll go, hey, Christina and her bow. I don't even know his name, but they got rings just like I do. And that I'm sort of a nostalgic, sentimental guy deep down, even though I really come across as this burly pen turner. I'm just kidding. That was funny. But I am sentimental, nostalgic kind of thing. So I appreciate stuff like that. All right, let's see how we're doing on these measurements here. 0.65 there, 0.66 there. So I got a little bit more to go. This is nice. But I ran an Ethernet cable, like I was telling the other Christina here, ran an Ethernet cable from the office all the way to the shop until I get my wireless mesh network set up. So we got 900 up and down. Shouldn't have any problem. Oh, Dennis. Excellent. Your man's name is Dennis. Welcome, Dennis. Dennis and April. I just love to see him. It's so fun. You know, we're going to try to scoot up the backside of this little snowman here. So, April, what we're working on, we got a little snowman in here, and he's tilted backwards a little bit. And I think I'm just going to be able to miss that cap, which is very exciting. I thought I was going to have to cut the back of that off. And hello, Dennis. Is he off to work today, or is he relaxing? And by the way, Christina 406 has not gotten used to the cold yet. And may never. Yeah, Carrie would have, if I told her we're going northern Montana, she might have my head. He'll be heading to work in a few hours. Good, let him rest up. Okay, what are we going to do with this now? Let me turn this blower off. So we got some snowy icicle stuff here. We got some clear here with, and he's tinted as just a hair blue, and that makes it look clear, believe it or not. I can see that because normally this would be a yellow or amber, because there's something in part A of the urethane resins called isocyanate, I think it's called. And that's the thing that yellows, and you can't stop it from yellowing. I think maybe we'll do two. That might look pretty. I'm thinking. Okay, I'm thinking. Because I really want to get some refraction above that snowman's head. So let's see what we got here. If we do a couple of restraints, that'll give us some really good light bending. Okay, so the area that we can play, I would say, is from there to about there. So that is exactly 1 1/8 inch. And if I divide that in two, that's going to be 1/2 and 1/16. So one there. Okay, so our first line will go right there. Our second line will be, we'll do it right there. That's far enough from his head. That'll look pretty cool. And the other one will bring in, that is 1/2 inch. We'll bring it in right there. That'll give us some good refraction. That is awesome. We can have a 150-degree temper change from our coldest temps to our hottest. Wow. Did you mean 50? Man, 150-degree temperature change. That's big. That's like Desert City. Okay. Let me turn the blower back on. I'm going to make a cut right here. And the whole idea of this particular cut here is to make it look like ice above his head. Ice in the sky. Maybe even look a little bit Aurora Borealis looking with those glitter things in there. I will just slowly cut into here and make it curvy. This is not going to be a decorative piece. This is going to be fully functional. Oh, this makes me excited because we didn't cut into Santa's head. Now, we don't know if I'll be a success at this or not because we got to slowly play and get this light to bend through this blank. That should be the very first light bend right there. Carries an enabler for Friday Night's Live. I ended up ordering a Stitch tray. Oh, you know it, man. Stitch is awesome. Prefer the cold over the heat because I'm heat intolerant. However, I do hate the cold. Boy, move to San Diego, April. That's where God put all the good weather. All right, let's get this cut in right here. So we got all of our grooves in here. All right, now we're going to whittle this down into a little pointy thing that is really going to be the thing that bends that light through the blank. And we're going to tip it off just a little bit so that it's smooth. This could be very cool. And thankful to Troy Shipley for mixing his resin so well, because it is a pleasure to turn blanks that are mixed very well. And most do it good. Most do it really well. But every once in a while you get one that just didn't, hit it right. All right, let's see how. Yeah, this gives this little snowman a little bubble to live into. Yeah, this is going to be cool. All right, we're done with this one. Let's finish her up. Yeah. Oklahoma's not bad, but we do have a couple of coldest days in winter. And every once in a while we have a really hot summer. And this year, I think we only had 1 or 2 days over 100, which is very nuts. It's good, but it's not typical. All right, now we can just sit here and turn. Yeah, I'd like to travel to Death Valley, get out of the car and go, oh, this is what 115, 20, 30 feels like. Good. Reminds me never to participate in that heat. Hey, all you 9 people out there, everybody say hey. Throw an emoticon out there. Let us know what you're doing. Hopefully you're having a really nice Sunday morning. Now, the reason I use these foam blocks here is as we got this nice big long curve here, I want to even out any knife marks that are in there. And they're always very slight, but it makes a difference in the optical clarity when we're all done. And that's a really big word that I just used. And that's it for the day. I've used my big word allotment. Optical clarity. Oh, now that's just as smooth as could be. Love it. Now we'll keep these guys going here. That's nice and smooth. That's nice and smooth. You can hear it. You can hear the sanding block starts out wisping a lot out you and then just smooths right out. Yeah, there is no place like home. I'd love to live in Wheeling, West Virginia, but Carrie will have no part of that. Super inexpensive to live. Man alive. Oh my goodness. It's just so depressed. So if you have a good income, then and live there, you could do really well. And it's pretty. Not a Montana or a Colorado pretty, but very pretty. A lot of hardwood trees, some conifers, all that good stuff. In fact, Troy Shipley, he lives in West Virginia, just south of Morgantown, around a town called Fairmount or Fairmont. Fairmont, I think it is. Yeah, you might as well just stay now, April. Yep, I got you. That is the truth, April. Nothing like home. That's where you're comfortable. I get it. We like Oklahoma, especially Oklahoma City, because we're pretty close to the airport. And I still do fly a little bit in my day job. And it's easy in and out access. Cost of living here is pretty decent. The political climate's pretty quiet, nothing crazy. No wild ghettos or anything like that. And like John Denver said, almost heaven. Wasn't he from Colorado? I think most people would think he's from West Virginia, but he is not. I don't think so anyway. Hello, Rosalind Rivera. How the heck are you doing? Been a while since I seen your name pop up there. Glad to have you in this morning. We got a pretty nice crowd here. 11 people watching for a Sunday morning pop up live, not announced. That's pretty good. Glad you're all here. Enjoy. We're just making some pens today. All day. This is a Christmas pen I am turning. And there's a little snowman right in here with a red scarf and a little red beanie hat on that it's going to be real cute with a little white ball on the back. And my whole goal in this was not to cut into the little snowman there. So it's like a little Santa snowman. Hey, Kevin. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you this morning. Kevin's probably in there diamond painting already like you guys are. It took a while for Kevin to get up and running on the diamond painting, but now he's like, I be liking this. And he's got topics he likes. He likes doing the Disney. He likes doing the Grinch. Not sure what's next. What are you working on right now, Kev? Is that a Grinch? Can't remember. Sort of funny when I was calling Cox Cable last night to cancel my internet service. It was very funny. Oh, making some recordings. Good, Kev. Ah, very nice, Roslyn. This this particular blank would be perfect for that, but I don't think you'll have it from me by the time Christmas gets here, or that you start working on your kit there. Ah, so smooth. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Ooh, that's so smooth. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And again, I am live today because hey, I'm making pens and felt bad that we couldn't go live last night. All right, so here's the beginning of the finish. I'm going to go buff this one here I want to see all the refraction in there. Ah, I didn't cut into his beanie. Look at that little Santa man there. Santa snowman. He's got a candy cane in his arm, red scarf. He does have a carrot for a nose, but it's very tiny, and a little beanie. Now, normally this is Kevin's job, buffing up the pens, but I want to get this one just so we could see it on screen. And he'll rebuff it because I'm just going to do the shiny parts. Okay. Kevin will do a more thorough job. I just want everyone to see the reflection of the light and what we were aiming for here. And hopefully we've achieved it. Denise will probably be in the gun shop soon, so she'll probably pop in and say, hey. Might not say much because she's getting the gun shop up and rolling. But she's down there in balmy Florida. Probably a gorgeous, toasty morning there today. All right, so here is, dust aside, the little fat snowman in there. He's looking really good. We didn't touch one part of that snowman turning. That makes me very excited. And then you can see above his head, it refracts that light like a Coke bottle. You know, you get that funny little refraction of light there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that looks nice. Little glitter floating around through there. It's called starlight glitter, reflects all the different colors of the light. I think that's the same for a lot of people, Rosalind. A lot of people love Christmas. All right, let's go to this other really cool blank. And I'm sure this is a Shipley because of the waviness of these colors. These colors are just brilliant. It's like a copper, a blue, green tinted. He calls this sea glass or beach glass or whatever that called. There's even probably a little bit of gold in there. I think I see a little bit on the edge here, a little bit there. Might be some more on the inside, but that's pretty cool waviness there. I like it. And we'll get that about right there. Get this up a little bit. Do my measure. Perfect. That's on, that's on. We're clamped in decently. Here we go. Super high speed blowers on. Here we go. Still a little square. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? Hope it's going well down there in Colombia today. Catherine lives in another beautiful part of the world, Cartagena, Colombia. Beautiful down there. I've only seen videos and people touring and stuff. Never been there myself, but if I ever get there, I'm going to meet Catherine in the cafe for a croissant. I got to find a project that takes me there. I know my company has an office in Colombia. It's in Bogota. All right, we're pretty round there. I would love to get to Cartagena, Catherine, I'll tell you. Just got to get my company to pay me the way. Or we got to get a cruise ship that we're on that takes us down there. All right, let me bring this up just a hair because that other blade is a lot thicker. Get it matched in there. My measure's just above center line, so that's good. Well, yeah, that's everywhere, Catherine. That is everywhere. I'm sure there's a couple of places here in Oklahoma City that are like that, but I focus on the nice places because I don't like to go to them places. A little scary for me for a guy who values his life and blood remaining in his body. Funny how that works, huh? Okay, we're down about a 0.65. We got there nicely. Let's get our dome installed on the end here. So how's your Sunday morning, Catherine? We got Christina and we got Kevin and we got April here and many others. I don't even know who's here. Rosalind is here. Yeah, I'll thank you for the advice. I will stay away from the dangerous areas. All right, that looks good there. Point 0.66. How about this one over here? Right at 0.66. So I got a little bit more trimming to do. That's probably it right there. Yeah, I actually spoke to one of our guys in the Bogota office down there. I'm thinking, Manuel, get me a project down there, and I'll come down and install some computer stuff for you. Some agentic AI based computer vision fun stuff. All right, we'll do one last measure for here. We're looking 0.64 and a half there, 0.64 and a half there. Beautiful. All right, let's finish off the baseball bat end on this one. How's the weather today in Cartagena, Catherine? We were talking about how chilly it was up here, 30 degrees Fahrenheit for a lot of us. Except for Denise. When Denise comes on, it'll be very nice. Just cleaning your floors. Oh, I love a clean floor. Okay, we got some cool stuff going on in this thing. There's some clarity in there, a lot of clear there, transparent, I should say. It's sort of tinted green. Let's see where our center is. That's our center right there. That never looks like the center. Let's see, 2 and a little over 5/8. 2 and a little over 5/8. That's the one. Never looks like the center. 25 degrees out there. Woo! That's colder than where Christina is up there in Montana. All right, I think some vases are going to look absolutely exquisite in this blank here. I think it's a little bit wider. For some reason, I got a hankering. I feel like I should go get some donuts at the local awesome donut shop. But I'm not going to. But Sunday morning just feels like donut morning, doesn't it? Of all the mornings of the week. All right, that's beautiful there. You know, except for the purple and green in this, Catherine, I think this is a blank that you would appreciate because of the copper. And copper is sort of in that orange range. Not exactly orange, but it's got that orangey glow. 25C. Yeah, that's pretty warm down there. Yeah. 2021 is 18 to 21, I think, Celsius is beautiful temperatures, no matter where you're at in the world. 25, getting a little warm. Yeah, I was over in Poland about 3 years ago this month. Came home December 15th, so I was over there right then. And it was very cold right off that Baltic Sea. I was in Gdansk, actually staying in a little town called Sopot, and it's right on the Baltic Sea. And let me tell you, it was like minus 19 Celsius. Ooh, that was chilly. Man, that was chilly. I forget what the conversion was, but it was down around 10 degrees or something like that. Minus 18 Celsius. And I walked to this pizza joint. It had a fantastic cheese and fruit plate, Italian restaurant, really, and a phenomenal pizza. I thought, boy, I didn't think I'd get good pizza in Poland. I was looking for pierogies or something, but no, they don't. They're tired of eating pierogies. They eat those at home. They eat all the good Chinese restaurant I ate at, good Mexican restaurant. I'm thinking, man, it's like being in America. Really good Mediterranean there too. Oh man, that was good. All right, that's going to look pretty snazzy right there. Yeah, if you want some warmth without being overpowering warmth, 25 is wonderful. Beautiful blue sky down there in Cartagena. Nice. And you know, Catherine is an expatriate from Switzerland. And right now, I'll bet you the Switzerland weather is pretty chilly. Pretty chilly. So, Catherine's good to be in the heat, I'll bet you. So, April, is it 25 Fahrenheit? Yeah. No. Is it 25 C where you're at? Or no, it couldn't be that warm, is it? That'd be pretty toasty. Because I know here, I think that 19 is right around 70, 18, 19, 20 is around hovering around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So 25 probably takes it up into the high 70s, maybe almost 80. I am not, I don't really care. Well, of course not, but you can reflect on, whoo, glad I'm not there because it's cold. And I'm with you there, Catherine. I'm with you. I only look at what it is in Germany when I'm calling my German clients because they love talking about the weather. And I'm right there with them. I'll talk about it with you. All right, that's a good little burn in there. Let's get some finishing going here. Well, it depends on where you're at. The weather is boring. Sometimes weather can be very exciting. Like here in Oklahoma, when we have those weather events called tornadoes, that gets pretty exciting. Sometimes in a bad way for some folks. Or hurricanes. Woo, baby. I heard there was a 7.0 earthquake in the Yukon, Canada, and it was right on the border with southern Alaska there before it goes down into that big peninsula. And but no big tidal waves came out of that one. Guess it was a little too far inland. And there was even a town online called Westport, Washington, which is in the southwest coast of Washington. And they were showing the king tide. I don't know what a king tide is, but they were showing the king tide. Yeah, this vases thing is really popular, April. Really popular. And it really makes a lot of blanks look wonderful. This will be one of them. This will be one of them. Yeah, Catherine, we're which is known as Tornado Alley. And it's just an area of the country where very often the cold from the north and the west come down and slam into the warm and the humid off the Gulf of America. And that causes some exciting weather patterns. If it's just right, oh my goodness, it gets very exciting. If it's not just right, then we just get lots of great rain and thunderstorms, which are absolutely dynamic. I love a phenomenal Oklahoma thunderstorm, lightning. Oh, it's just beautiful. And all it does is rain and blow. But when you get a tornado mixed in there, you get pretty excited. You get the old bug out bag prepared. You throw it in the car. You put a case of water in there, and then you hope it misses you. And luckily, we've not ever had that opportunity to get in the car and run away while it's heading for our house. You like the pen with the bubbles the best. Is that like the two flowy things, like the balls in the middle? Is that the one you like, Catherine? If you'll notice, I've changed up my finishing process a little bit. Chat GPT and I had a really good conversation while we were on the cruise, and I fed into it my current finishing process. And it said, oh, you're going backwards in 2 steps, and there's something you don't need to do, but you could do this and it would be better. And here's why, and got all scientific on me. And I'm like, okay. So now instead of using that white juice at the end, which was a step backwards, believe it or not, I use 6 grades of sandpaper, wet dry sandpaper, cut into 1.5 by 1 inch chunks so they're easy to hold. And then we just do a buffing, and man, they're coming out just all kind of shiny. So that's what we were looking for. I sent you pictures of the weird way I hold my pen. That's interesting. I can't wait to see them. Because we have another lady, and her name is Christina, and she has invented this tip. Took our baseball bat, and she made the pointy baseball bat and moves it back about 7/8 of an inch because she grips below the baseball bat with one of her fingers. And that we do every single one of her pens like that. And now she's starting to get the screw in tips, the twist and pick tips. And she usually loves a very thin middle. She wants something very thin here in the middle. So she doesn't like a lot of, she wouldn't like this little top of the vase here. She might not mind this here, but she knows exactly what she wants. And I'm like, I love it. I just follow the instructions and not screw up, and we're good to go. Oh, yes, in between the bubbles. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got it now. That's not the center design. That's the end design. Yeah, Catherine's got a special need to have a certain particular pen turned a certain way, and it gives her great dexterity with that pen to really get some good diamond painting done. So, yeah, we have figured that one out and got a picture of it. And when she says, I need my 2 bubbles on the end, the bubbles are what her fingers go in between. And she gets it done with that. So we're always happy to help her. Wonderful lady down there. All you people are wonderful, but yeah. Yep, that's the bubble. Because I do another one with 2 balls in the middle, but that's not the one you're talking about. Yeah, I got you. And you know what's funny is I have this little red stopper that's getting all messed up now, but I moved this from container to container to tell me which paper I'm using because they all look the same. They're all gray. So I got to remember where I'm at or I'll lose track and waste sandpaper or maybe skip one or whatever. So the one I'm using right now is the one that has the red stopper in it. And then when I go down to get the next piece, I move the stopper to the next piece and get that one. Hey, Christina. Yeah, we're just talking about you and your special pens. Absolutely. Yeah, Christina came on here, Christina Carr. But we got a lot of Christinas in here, by the way. We got Christina 406. Christina James is lurking in there. But Christina came on board and asked, I don't know, tremendous amount of questions. Couldn't even remember how many there were, but she finally settled in on exactly what she needed. So it was a real learning experience for her and me. And then now we're dialing it right in for her, which is fun. That's the place to be, right? Get what you want. Get what works. Let me move my red stopper to the next bucket and grab one of those. Not too many, Christina, just the right amount because you stopped asking and you knew exactly what you wanted and you give direction. And I'm like, yeah, I got this. But it's just the right amount of questions. I know you're just being funny, but yeah, it's just the right amount. Because now she doesn't ask questions except, hey, what turn is that? If she sees a new one. And we're glad you're here. Probably just in there lurking and working, huh? Ooh, that's feeling so smooth. All right. See what this. Oh, yeah, this is brilliant. Look at that, Catherine. You'd love that. That's sort of a yellow gold, maybe in the orange world. Got that copper flowing through there. The blue, I know you're not a fan of, but that copper and yellow, that's your deal there. Yep, or to modify a metal. Yes, ma'am. Let me keep it wet. Beautiful. That's a very vibrant pen. And there's some clarity in here that really stands out when this gets buffed up by Kevin. In the ends, if I can keep all my dirty fingers off them, are this clear green, and that's going to look pretty cool too. All right. Do 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 do. Okay, now I'm interested in seeing how this Fordite one comes out. Because this, if you notice, all of the Fordite runs this direction here. That means we're going to have to plunge into it to get those topographical lines like a mountain range. So this would be like the sediment that laid down by the earth and then we'll cut into it and make some pretty cool looking stuff. And then here, after I do this pen, we'll come back over to the table and we'll rework the ink pen here. All right, let me measure here. How we looking? We are looking perfect. We just want to maintain just above center. Planted, full speed ahead. Ouch. Man, that hurt. I don't know where it went, but big chunk of resin came off of that Fordite. Oh, look at that air bubble there. Whew, glad we're turning this down. Air bubble stuck in there. Woo! Another one just flew right off there. And that sucker flies across the room, too. Yeah, that was not good adhesion for that one. But that's okay. We're not going to need it. This one's not round yet. We got a ways to go. Ah, hey, Crafting and Crime Daily. Dog walking officially canceled. Backyard. Christina, I'm not working yet. It's only 7:30 and moving you. Oh, yeah. Got to go to the store. Hey, Rebecca. Let's see. Cindy's in the house. Hello, Cindy. Christina loves the twist and pick tip tool. Now, the other thing about that twist and pick is I have to make that end larger than pointier because I got to tap into there and leave enough meat so it doesn't fall apart. I bet you it's cold up there in Wichita. That's probably why dog walking is canceled. Or did you get snow, Rebecca? We got nothing down here. We're clear as a bell, but cold. And by the way, Rebecca has reclaimed fully her Facebook account. I don't know if you changed the name yet. I saw a picture yesterday. I'm thinking, oh, she's back. I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. I didn't check the name. Look at my hand here. Look how interesting those shavings are. They got the little lines of Fordite in them. One day I'm going to have to save those and put them in a blank. I don't know how that would look, but I think it would look pretty cool maybe. Call it a Fordite shavings blank. Whew. We lose a chunk off of there or what? Oh yeah, we still got that missing right there. Big chunk of resin flew off of that thing right there. Ooh, baby. Very exciting. Not. One of those pieces hit me in the face. And some would say, well, he deserved it. Ha 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 ha. No snow, but 17-degree wind chill. Yep. Oh, mid-December. Oh, we're getting there. December 29th. Almost there. So we are missing a big chunk of resin right there. So we're going to have to play with that. We're going to be able to dive in there for the baseball bat on this end. We'll figure out something to do in the middle, but this is going to be pretty cool. And those are the foibles of turning. See, I got to collect this stuff. Look at that, how cool that looks. Little tiny lines in there. I need to put like some pantyhose over this catcher thing here and catch a bunch and filter out all the junk and keep the good stuff. All right, let's get to it here, folks. We got to turn the speed down here, down to about 2,000. How we doing here? We're just a hair low. I have had blanks like this one where they're long and straight. And I have had blanks where the resin wants to come off of the paint. It's not a really good adhesion point because paint is a little bit plasticky sometimes. And the resin doesn't really like to stick in a long surface area of that. And sometimes it sticks fantastically. Just about the paint. Oh, it must be running into that edge right there. I keep hearing something like an edge, but it's just that one there. All right, let's see what we're doing for a finger grip here. Looks like about 0.64 on the money. Love it. Let's get our dome built in. Ooh, that's nice and smooth. Beautiful there. Okay, let's come over here. Got to be a little careful with this one here as we get down into this missing piece of resin. I can feel it right about there. I'm going to put my foot on my stool here and just be patient. Yeah, sometimes these blanks can be troublesome, and sometimes they're absolutely fantastic. Just depends. They're always beautiful, though, when we're finally done. Wait till you see the ink pen port I got to do here in a little bit. It's going to be wild. All right, I think we're down to the finger grip where we're going to need to be. Nope, still got more to go. That's good because we're slowly working down into here. And we might have a flat side to this thing because that's a pretty deep piece of resin mixing there, or missing there. I got to preserve the finger grip. That's the key there. Yeah, see, I'm not going to be able, I got a chunk missing right there. That'd be pretty interesting to hold, I'll tell you. But we're going to minimize that as much as we can. Let's see what we're down to for a measurement. Forgot to measure. Let's see. Yeah, 0.64, right on the money there. Let's see. What kind of gameplay, Kevin? Lego Harry Potter. Sounds fun. Yeah, there we go. Miss games sometimes. I'm with you. All right, now let's go figure out where our middle is and see how we're going to play with this piece of missing resin. Oh, I got to finish up the baseball bat end. Okay, so there's our middle. Let me finish up this end down here. That's a chatterbox in there. Nice and smooth now. Yeah, that was chattering like a mad dog in there. All right, so now we've got our, not so concerned about this side because we'll be able to dive into there, but as I look at this, there's our center there on the 3. We marked that right there. Yeah, wait till you see this ink pen I'm going to do a little bit later here. In fact, after this pen, we're going to pop over there and, okay, so if I do balls, have to do almonds. If I did that, that'll get rid of this sharp edge there. That'll bring this down. We'll have just a little bit of a flat spot right here on the finger grip. I don't want to take this down anymore there. That'll actually be a pretty cool looking thing to have that shiny auto paint there, super dark blue. But I'll cut into here, cut into there, cut into there, and we'll almond that out a bit. And that should solve most of that issue. All right, here we go. Yeah, I love personally the dragon scale and stuff like that. Super, super defined. Let's see, that's the wrong one there. Okay, now we'll just take it nice and easy and just nibble on in here because we don't want to lift any more resin off. And I don't want to eat a piece of it. That's never very fun. This will be gorgeous when we're done because it's some cool looking Fordite. We just got to figure out how to work with this particular piece or pieces. Yeah, I can tell just by turning on this end here, this will work out pretty good. We'll do some very nice looking almonds. We're definitely down in the smooth land in the middle or down in the center valley there. There'll be no sharp edges. There'll just be a flat edge because sanding will and finishing will take us down where we need to be. All right, let's see. Here's where we're at now. So it's going to be some really good topographical stuff. There's an air bubble stuck right there. We'll have to fill that. Oh, that's a paint defect there. That's pretty cool. I thought it was an air bubble, but it's not. All right, we'll take these down. So we're going to have little blue mountaintops, is essentially what we're going to have. We'll leave a little bit, but not too much. And the almond shape will give us a nice topo, nice, smooth, gradual incline upwards. The idea is to get a long incline out of the center, or out of the valley, I should say. That way you get the most topographical looking map or design. All right. This one there I'm going to leave alone. We're going to have a little blue top on that one. Let me get this shape for the most effect. All right, that's pretty good there. And then this one here, I'm going to leave a little proud. But I do want to take a little bit of that edge off of there. And by the way, this is a fully usable pen. We're just going to have some, I've never done that, a flat top on there. I could fill it with CA glue, like top it off, but it's eventually going to get ugly looking because CA glue is not the best medium. There we go. So we're going to have some, we're going to sand this. We'll get some great topographical stuff, but we're going to have 3 blue ridges like Colorado, blue top mountains. My type of metal. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, this one we got to play with a little bit. The ends are perfect. It's just these little flat tops. And these flat tops are very slight, and they're going to get a tiny bit smaller as we finish up. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is going to beat my finger hard, I'm telling you. I can feel it already. I'm going to slow that down a little bit. Let's get a little bit of shaping and a little bit of configuring here as we go up and down to get what we want. Definitely going to do this is the rough end for the clear, but it really is going to take the jagged lines from turning the Fordite into very smooth lines and is really going to highlight nicely the Fordite. Yeah, this has to be one of the most comfortable middles next to Mustache, or as comfortable as Mustache. And right now I'm shaping a little bit to make sure both the almonds are the same. Like this one here has got a little steeper incline, so I'll shape that down a little bit with this thing here. There we go. Because I really want that topographical map looking thing, like a mountain range in Colorado. Or a butte range, B-U-T-T-E. Do a little shaping here on this one. All right, those flat tops are getting minimalized as much as possible, so that's pretty good. She's returned. Never forget to get chicken boiling on the stove for my friend's dad's dog because Izzy is super spoiled. Yeah, well, you know, we treat our dogs well, don't we? All right, that's feeling pretty good already. All right, very nice. Let me move my little red stopper here back to number 1. Oh, jeez. Kick my stool over. Been live 2 hours already. We're having fun. It's like a mini 24-hour live, but it won't be 24. I was watching this thing on YouTube last night where Trump had some performers at the White House, and I loved every one of those performers. George Strait, literally the golden standard of country music. Kiss with Peter Criss there. And I've not seen Peter Criss in 30 years. They split up a long time ago. He wanted to go do his own thing or something. He's the one that wrote the song Beth. Remember that? And they are definitely the king of performance heavy metal. I never thought they were tremendous musicians like some other people are, but man, what performers. My goodness, those guys could put on a show, and that's what people went for. The music was decent, pretty memorable in your brain. They got those little riffs where you could remember them. Then he had Gloria Gaynor. I Will Survive. Man, that was like the banner of the disco 70s. And then he had Sylvester Stallone, who don't love Rocky. Watching him in Tulsa King right now, he's quite the actor. And then you got Michael Crawford, the Phantom of the Opera, in Andrew Lloyd Webber's initial production. Yeah, it was a good collection there. And they all got some Kennedy Center Honor Medal or something like that. Yes, what we do for our dogs, everything. We very much humanize them, don't we? We expect them to talk back a little bit, and they sort of do in their own way. I was watching this video on how dogs perceive the world. Very interesting. Visually, emotionally, all that kind of stuff. It was pretty neat. Well, I can feel that flat spot on there. We're not going to get rid of it, that's for sure. And cats. You got it, Cindy. Cindy, you're on regular mountain time now, aren't you? Did that daylight savings shift, you're back on Mountain Standard Time. And then you'll be on California time when they shift to Mountain Daylight Time. Man, you guys are like the corgi capital of the world in there. Yeah. Yep, you just stay the same all year round, never change. But right now, you're an hour behind me on daylight savings time. You're 2 hours behind me. We got to stop that daylight savings time stuff. There's no reason for it anymore. And I think we should shift to daylight savings time and stay there. I like the brighter evenings more than the brighter mornings. But I'm sure they would just make it standard time year round. Yeah, my mom doesn't change either. She lives in the Phoenix area, so she never changes. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to be able to stop the Earth from tilting around the sun. That's why we get that December 21st, we get that like 9 hour and 15-minute day or something like that. Where I think in June 21st, I think the day is like, I don't know, 14 hours long or something, daylight. I didn't move my rubber plug. I can't remember where I was. I'll just redo that paper. That's all. If I did it already. Okay, it's feeling pretty good. All right, let's check this baby out. Yep, that came out nice. And these got nice edges on them. Little blue top there. That's cool. Little topographical map on the back, but most of this one was broke off before they put it in resin, and it's just a long thing. That's cool. And then a little piece right there that just gives some cool lines. All right. I don't know what kind of paint this is up top here. This is perfectly smooth, but it looks jagged. It must be like metallic paint or something. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, weird paint. Must have been a Chrysler. Ah, just kidding. Okay, we got those done. We got two more of the regular ones to do, but we're going to shift back to the bench here because we got a little bit of work to do over here. There we go. This is where we left it. Of course, I got to put this in the ultrasonic sink now because I got epoxy all over my screwdriver. Okay, this one got to ream out again. Let's see, was this that's 10 millimeter. Where was oh, was that 10 millimeter or 3/8? Oh, that's 10 millimeter. Okay. All right, we're back over here now. I got to ream this out because it's got a little bit of epoxy in there. I think I got to do that on the, I'll never be able to crank my hand through that thing. So I'm going to come over here to the drill press. You guys keep talking while I'm over here working. We're just going to gently ream the epoxy out of this thing. Oh, that was a whole lot easier than me trying to twist that through with my hand. Beautiful. All right. And then we will take these little guys here. I'm going to do a couple things. This is the other Fordite blank I've got. And you can see those little round parts there. That's going to get pretty cool. All right, let's get this over here. This is the one that had the epoxy on it, but I got it all wiped off, so we're going to rough it up again. This one here, these blanks here, is going to be a Big Ben, and then this one's going to be a lighthouse. You know, Cindy, I've heard rumors, but it really was to help the farmers get more light during the harvest at the end of the day. But the way I look at it, farmers don't need our help to get up early. They just get up and go do their thing. If that was the reason. All right, now I will take a little bit of alcohol here. Yeah, these are going to be ink pens here. Get these all nice and clean. And let me get rid of this chunk of paper here because it's got a little drip of non-cured epoxy on there getting all over my blank. So we'll do this by hand before we bring back another piece of parchment. All right, that one's good there. We'll just get this one. This just gives more bite to the epoxy. I know it's almost microscopic when we're sanding, but that's what they say. Yeah, the rifle pen is neat. right, those guys are ready to go in the blanks. We're going to test fit them. That works like a champ there. That works like a champ there. So those are ready to go. And let me get another piece of paper here. It's easier to throw away the paper than it is to scrape all the epoxy off my desk. Not that it's hard to scrape the epoxy, it's just this is easier. Less labor involved this way. Yeah, those rifle pens are fun. They are fun. Okay, so let's go. We got that here. Let me get my, I wonder if that's, I can get it all off of there. I got to get deeper into that holder because there's still a little drip on there. All right, get a little bit of this one here. I'm going to have to break out my next bottles because these are getting low. And I got these cool little holders from Woodcraft that keeps them stored upside down. I think those are just, I call those about the same size there. So you can see them right here. These are the holders that hold the epoxy. There we go. And those are pretty cool. Okay, now that I got that there, let me throw some gloves on or I'll get this stuff all over me. And we don't want that. Get these things all flexed out here. Feel like a cop every time I put these on, helping some person at the traffic stop who didn't want to obey and had to get beat up or tased or something. Okay, we'll get rid of those there. Let's get us a popsicle stick over here. And we'll mix this up. And this is 1-to-1 by volume. So whatever you got, you just scrape it up, mix it all together. And I just pour a couple of dots that look very similar. All right, that's all mixed up. But yeah, Cindy, I didn't think farmers needed our help. Farmers are pretty dang self-sufficient, and they'll get out there and do what they got to do to make their money. There's no doubt. Okay. Then we'll pull up a little bit of this here and drizzle it down in there. And then we just twist, and we just twist and twist and twist to make sure it gets fully engaged in there. Not a lot of room between the blank and the brass tube, so you really got to make sure you get it in there good. Oh, damn it. I just did that again. Okay. I can't believe I just did that again. Oh my gosh, I must be like losing my brain today or something. I got to get all the epoxy off of this. So I got this in alcohol, and it'll get rid of all the epoxy that's not cured yet. So we'll set that aside. I even got the white sitting right here. Okay, I'm going to pour a little bit of that in there, get another stick. And these need to be white when they're going in there to reflect the light off of the yeah, it's not going to work because I don't have enough there. So we're going to abandon that real quickly. One of these days I'll get this right. But what I want to do is, because this blank, this Lifesaver looking blank, is a bit clear, I want to mix a color with there, because as I turn this down, it's going to get more and more transparent. and I want something to reflect the light off that comes in. So let me get rid of these gloves here. And now I've got to wait because this one has got epoxy in it, and I've got to wonder if I could put that in alcohol, if that will come out, because it's not cured yet. Now I don't want to take a chance. I'll let it cure. We'll go turn a pen. That's a 5-minute epoxy, so it'll be plenty hard by the time we're done with a pen. And I will come back and ream that out again, and then put the white on here, what I'm looking for, because that's what I want to do. And then, but what you don't want to see is this brass tube. If you look at this thing here, you can see that brass tube. See how I'm moving in and out? You can see that brass tube in there. Brass isn't terrible, but you don't want to see the brass. You want to see something better. So we'll mix white with the epoxy. That way that white coating on the inside will reflect out. And that way it'll look really nice and sharp. If you made it black, it's so narrow or so shallow of resin that's left that you wouldn't get any color at all. You would just literally get black. So we got to use white to reflect that out of there. All right, let's go back to turning a pen. I'm going to save the coolest, well, not the coolest, but the wooden pen for last. They're the half wooden pen. All right, let me change the camera. We'll get this loaded up over there. All right, there's that thing there. Hello, Ann. How you doing? We just got a little impromptu pop-up live. Like I said to everybody before, normally I turn in quiet here, listen to YouTube channels and stuff. And I thought, we didn't go live last night. Let me go live this morning. We'll do this set of pens, and I'll take a break, do some other stuff. Then we'll come back, and then we'll do the same thing. And then we'll go live again tonight. But I got an Ethernet cable hauled all the way across the house, about 80 feet of or 65 feet of Ethernet cable by the time you get the curves to the house. That way we can broadcast really, really well, not drop any signal. Got that AT&T Fiber 1000. It is beautiful. All right, nice and smooth there on that end. Okay, now we're happy to keep you not withdrawn, Cindy. YouTube is weird. I'll tell you, I'm with you there. So these are some kind of flowers, and I think they're either acrylic or something. They must be some kind of plastic, as you can see how that one peeled off. It doesn't adhere very well. So they're definitely not those polymer clay blanks or flowers. They're definitely some kind of plastic or acrylic. I could smell, or maybe even epoxy. I could not wouldn't be acrylic. Sorry, plastic or epoxy resin or something, because that's why that peeled off of there. All right, let's slow this down a little bit. Let's get it a little tighter. Let's lower our tool rest just a hair. Do a measure. Ah, too low. Oh, I should have taken it up. That's right. The other one's too thick and this is thinner. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, we kept hanging on and hanging on. I'm like, man, the Wi-Fi out here in the shop sucks until I get my own mesh network reset back up, which gives me 400 up and 400 down in the shop. But that's too far of a reach for the AT&T Wi-Fi. So I said, well, let's cancel the live care, schedule Sunday, and then, like I said, I was just in here messing around this morning. I go, man, I ought to go live. What the heck? Yeah, I thought these were polymer clay, but I think they're just plastic or resin, which makes them giant. What do you call that stuff? Glitter. Giant glitter. A lot of air bubbles in this stuff. Yeah, a lot of air bubbles. Not sure where this blank came from, but I don't know how to get rid of those. I think they're just inherent in the process. So no blame on anybody. I may not be able to get rid of them either. I think my finger grip's still a bit thick here, but we'll deal with that in a second. Let's see what we're measuring at here. We are sitting at about, oh no, it's right on the money, 0.64. Beautiful. Dang, I'm getting good. Took me a few years, but I've arrived. Shut up, Tim. Keep turning. Now, there's a little bit of piece of missing plastic right there. I think it's just about gone. Yep. Tiny little 3 molecules left right there. I can feel it as it goes round and round. Now it's gone. Now we'll refashion that baseball bat, make it nice. Take care of that air bubble right there. Yeah, another air bubble right there. Man, there's a lot of air bubbles in this. It'll be pretty cool when we're done, though. Okay, let's get over to this end here. This is not a Flower Girl blank, but it's sort of acting like a Flower Girl blank with all those air bubbles. Surprised Larry's not here. Maybe he's sleeping in today. Haven't seen him pop in yet. I think I'm a little fat here. Let's see what we got. 67, yeah. Another air bubble right there. Got some filling to do on this one. We'll break out the CA glue and wish ourselves good luck. Yeah, there is a lot of air bubbles in there. My goodness. Shocking. I think it's a bit clear, so it's going to be pretty cool when we finish it up. All right, so what are we going to do here? Let me make my measurements here. We're sitting about 0.65 there, 0.64 there. Beautiful. Let me bring this one down just a hair. Larry is over the corner. Going to do withdrawals. That's funny. That is funny. There's some pretty cool looking flowers in there. So how do we make this look great? I think we're going to find the middle first. Oh, Google's talking to me. Turn on the Wi-Fi. So there's our center. I think this is going to be a single pane window from 7/8 to 7/8 because we want to highlight these flowers. Yeah, that's the way to go here. Oh, I'm going to do this the other way. I'm going to make this a sharper end here. Well, it's a good thing I remembered about that white before those epoxy blanks get stuck in here because I don't know how to uncover that one. I guess I could drill them out, but I think the accuracy of that would be really low. Second time I did that though, today alone. All right, here we go. Let's bring out the sunflowers. All right, let's see how we're looking here. That's looking pretty good. We'll do some sanding for a bit there. We lost a little bit of the middle of that flower right there. Air bubble right there. Air bubble there. That'll sand out. Air bubble, air bubble. Okay, air bubble there. All right, let's get busy here. We're looking pretty good. We just got to get the business going. All right, here we go. Let me refill my water bottle here first. All right. Thanks to Kevin for refilling my water bottles. Very handy. And I should be off by 11 so we don't interrupt the Crafting and Crime Daily 11 o'clock spree. I'm sure she's got. Yeah, these things must be epoxy because I can smell it when I'm sanding them. Or acrylic. It might be that acrylate stuff that is sold in some stores. I wonder where the air bubbles are coming from, though. Maybe they don't pressurize whoever made this. I don't know. Or poured too late. If the air bubble forms and you pour too late, you can't get that air pressure to squeeze out the bubbles. They're going to remain for sure. But that's okay. We can deal with them. Ain't no thing. Then I'll prepare the next batch of blanks, and after Rebecca's all done, we'll come back on a little bit time thereafter. You'll get your fill of us today. That's for sure. All right, overall feeling pretty good. Yeah, I did put a thing in the Facebook group to announce it. That way people could react to that. But I'm not sure. I think you have to have Facebook up and running or something to get that notification. And you know what's funny is even though I tell YouTube to notify me, I never get notified. Or if I do, I don't know where I'm getting notified from. I've never in all my years, and I'm a premium subscriber to YouTube, ever got a notification. Oh, we're glad, April. Glad to be here with you. I feel a thud, thud, thud. Did I lose a piece of plastic off of there? Oh no, it's just a different. Interesting. Nothing's missing, but oh no, what is that? Oh, that's an air bubble. Dang, right there on the edge. Look at that. I did feel that. Hey, Kevin.
Hello. What you doing?
Making an airplane. What are you doing? Yeah, April, someone else is out in the world doing something. Isn't that right? That's quite the deep air bubble. That's a bad place for an air bubble, too, but we'll get that filled in.
I'm not on my chat. Tell everybody I'm going to work on my YouTube channel this week.
Yep, I did see it. And somebody asked you what, and you said Lego Harry Potter, and I'm like, yeah, go, baby, go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just cleaning out the air bubbles right now because before we get too far in the finishing process, we want to get them filled. And right now, I'm just cleaning out the bottoms of them. There's one right there. I can see the little white dot. There we go. That one's cleaned out. And once we get to the bottom, there's a super, super smooth air pocket that we will fill with a little bit of glue. There's a couple right in there, hidden right in that yellow. So we'll just flood that little, there's one right there and one right over here. We'll flood that area. I think these I already got. There's one right there. One right there on that edge. And sometimes they're too small. All right, let's get out the CA glue. Where is my CA glue? Let me get a tip first. Where did I leave my CA glue? I'll use this one right here. Okay. So we got this little goodness here. If you'll notice, everywhere there's a hole, now that they're cleaned out, it's a super black spot. So we'll get this running down there. We'll plant that right in the bottom. Beautiful. Flood that in there. And sometimes they're so tiny, I don't know if I'll be able to fill them, but we'll give it a shot. Got to scrape the bottom of the hole because sometimes the air pocket will lay in the hole on underneath the glue. Yeah, this is just riddled with little tiny holes. We'll get as many as we can. There's a big one right there. I'm going to spray that one quickly because I don't want that one to run out. Let me hit these up real quick. Beautiful blank, though, I'm telling you. Love the blank. Not crazy about the air holes, that's all. Okay, that one's filled. That one needs a little bit more. And really, I'm spinning them and look at the profile just to make sure they're proud of the surface. If they are, they'll come out fabulous. This is Denise's pen. I'm going to add a little bit more to the top of this one there because it looks like it's sunk in just a little bit. That is definitely proud there. Nothing on this end for holes, thank goodness. Good job, Kev. Kevin finished all his laundry and cleaned his room. Great weekend, he said. Successful weekend. Reflooding these here because they shrink a little bit when they get that activator on them. Easy to sand off once we get it all squared away. All right, let me put that down there. We give us another spray here. We're not going to finish this one right now. We will put it away. And I'm going to let it fully cure. So I'm going to leave it sit in this cup right here. I'm going to pour a little water in there to keep that upright. In about 10 minutes, I'll flip that pen around, get the other end. The water helps cure that CA. That's the main curant in the glue, in the spray, the activator spray. Is it warming up yet, Kev? Nope, still 36. Oh, gotcha. When are you leaving? Oh, 2 weeks. Okay, gotcha. Week and a half. Let's see. Let's go back to this one right here. Here we go. Back here again. All right, so this is all cured. Let me go ream it out again. Oh, it just grabbed right out of my hand there. There we go. All right, all that epoxy has gone out of the blank. That's good. The epoxy is off this guy here, so that's good. And now, here we go again, right? Number 3 try. Yeah, if I didn't have a day job, I'd just come in here in the morning, flip the camera on, and forget I was live and just cuss and swear at myself. And I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. But I would go live. I just get in here and it'd be like a Twitch streamer. Just get in here and Tim in the shop, and I'll put OBS up there to get a couple of different angles so you can watch me walk around and get. And that way I don't have to change camera angles so much. But we're sort of married to StreamYard now just for ease of use. But one day we'll grow beyond that and do something else. Okay. There must be a hole in that or something, or I didn't clean all that out yet. All right, there's a pile of that. And I'm going to take this one here. Make me a spot of that one there. Let that level out. This is fun, though. Sunday morning, 8, 10, 12 people sitting around having fun. That's cool. And Dennis is going to go to work soon. And Cindy's out there diamond painting. Christina, if she's still around, is up there in Montana. Who doesn't like the cold, but not left it yet. But she's up there diamond painting. Okay, I'm going to put the white. It's not going to take a lot. It's going to take a little bit in there. Hey, yeah, we're going to get off here in a few minutes, Rebecca. That way we'll clear the way for your live. Okay, first thing we're going to do is mix up the white in this part A here. Get it to be all nice and white. Then we're going to mix the B in here with it. What you can't do is use acrylic paints because they have water in them. And that does not fare well with the epoxy. Keep scraping all this together. Make sure I got everything. All right, let's give this a shot. We got it white now. Oh, we're going to have some success here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, we'll get to all this. Roll in the white there like a pig in mud. Then we'll drip all this down in there. Let that drizzle on in there, and then we're just going to do a nice little coat. Well, we're glad you're here, Christina, because all the questions you asked have generated a lot of good questions from other people, and now they can get better what they want, which is pretty cool. All right. Okay, now we just sink that in there. And there'll be a little brassiness to it, but it's mostly white. And that'll reflect the colors out nicely. Another option is you can paint the inside of the blank. And I do that occasionally too, just depending upon what we're doing. Scrape up all this I can to get it in there, just to get the effect we're looking for. And we're really just trying to diminish the shininess of the brass tube. Dennis leaves in about 20-ish minutes, head to work at Walmart. He said it's been crazy. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no doubt, right? All right. I finally did it right this time. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. All right. We will leave those sit there for a bit. I gotta figure out how to get my gloves off with all this epoxy all over me. Let's see. I got one clean finger here. We'll scoop that up in there, pull that off. Scoop that one, pull that off. Boom. All right. I will be getting off here for a short bit, take a little break, get a little drink, get a little lunch. And then be back after Rebecca's off and we'll continue all this fun stuff. This one's ready to go. We'll get them trimmed up. They'll be fully cured by then. We'll get them trimmed up and then we'll turn a couple of pens. We do have one more of Denise's pens to turn, so that'll be fun. All right. You guys have a good little bit here and we'll see you on the flip flop. Let's see. Where is my go? End the stream. See you around. Not going to say goodbye, but I'll see you around.